Pokemon World Championships is this weekend, and to celebrate, local card stores are holding tournaments where you can win a Pikachu with a winner's stamp on it. Now, I play the TCG quite regularly, and of course, I want my hands on that Pikachu with the stamp. So in today's video, I'm going to show you the deck I'll most likely be playing at the tournament this weekend, and hopefully, I'm going to take home that Pikachu with the stamp. And so this is the deck I'll likely be playing this weekend. First off, we have a 4/4/3 line of Dragapult EX. I don't play any rare candies in this deck at all, and that's only because I believe that Dracloak is really all the search you need. Obviously, he's got the ability Recon Directive. Once during a turn, you can look at the top 2 cards of your deck and put one of them into your hand, put the other on the bottom of your deck. It's just good to search out cards that you need, cards you don't need. There's like an extra draw 8 if you have all 4 out. And I just think that's all really the search consistency you need. And obviously we've got Dragapult EX, stage 2 through 20 for a single card synergy 70, and for 200, Firing Psychic, Phantom Dive. You put 6 damage counters on your opponent's bench Pokemon any way you like. It's great to set up later KOs if you're not in range. It's like Tiamat's Ogre-Pons, Professor Dippers, you can get down to 200, boss them in, and just knock them out. I just think the draw engine of Dracloak is too good, and Dragapult obviously is one of the best decks in the format, so it feels like it's a no-brainer to go for it. Up next, I play 2 copies of Badoo. If you can't beat him, join him. Badoo is the best item lock in the format right now. Obviously it is a kind of a one prize liability, but at the same time you should be taking multiple prizes with Dragapult per turn, really. And obviously item lock in the early game is very good, just to get yourself set up and to stop your opponent from setting up that much quicker. We then have obviously 1 copy of Serendipity, another very good card. It's actually coming out in upcoming Trainer's Toolkit, so it's certainly going to go down and become more accessible. The ability is once during your turn, if any of your Pokemon are knocked up during your opponent's last turn, you may draw 3 cards, and you can't use more than 1 foot the script per turn. It is only there because of his ability. You'll probably never use Cruel Arrow. You should never be using Cruel Arrow. It's there for draw consistency. You've then got 1 copy of Blood Moon Ursaluna. Mainly there, if it's late game and you want to hit just a bit extra, you can do with, like, say if your opponent has 1 prize remaining, you can hit for free. And obviously if it's 2 prizes, you can hit for 1 energy. 240 is a decent number. You're hitting most basic EXs for a knockout. And obviously, like, the higher you are, like stage 1, stage 2s, you're not. But if you've got Dragapult already set up some KOs before, you're perfectly fine. You've got 1 copy of Munkidori with the Adrenaline Brain ability to move 3 damage counters from one of your Pokemon to one of your opponent's Pokemon, as long as you have a Dark Energy attached. This again works well with Dragapult. You can just put some damage on, then knock it out with Dragapult's damage counters, or the turn after you can just take the damage off your Dragapult and put it on your opponent's side to set up for more KOs. I then have 1 copy of Hawlucha from Scarlet and Violet base with the ability Flying Entry. Once during your turn, or when you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during the turn, you may choose 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon and put 1 damage counter on each of them. This is good for those matchups with 70 HP Pokemon, so like Hawlucha itself, Drippy, Charmander, Ralts sometimes. You just put 1 damage counter on each of them, hit a Phantom Dive, knock it out on the bench, and you're gone. The next card is kind of a rogue pick, which I quite enjoy in the deck. 1 copy of Lily's Clefairy EX. With the ability Fairy Zone, the weakness of each of your opponent's Dragon Pokemon in play now have a Psychic weakness. So this is good for a mirror matchup, or against Raging Bolt. You can just say Crispin, give us what's coming later, Crispin onto it, hit a Full Moon Rondo, usually get a decent knockout if your opponent's not expecting it. Obviously it is a bit of a liability being 190 HP, and there's no way in the deck to increase that, but I think it's a nice little surprise for whoever is not expecting it. You then go on to the item cards, and I play 4 copies for Bloody Buddy Poffin. I feel like this is kind of just obvious. Search deck for 2 basic Pokemon with 7 HP or less, put them onto your bench. You're mainly getting this for the Drippies and the Badoos. Obviously if you get a Hawlucha with this, your ability won't activate, so it's probably best not to get a Hawlucha with this. But it's just nice to get yourself set up early game. It's usually discard fodder in late game, but it's pretty good. Next up we have 3 copies of Ultra Ball. Now during testing, I did actually cut this down to 2 in replacement of a TM Evolution, but we'll see how that goes. But obviously Ultra Ball, staple card in most decks, discard 2, search for any Pokemon. It's good for your Dracloaks, for your Serendipitys, for your Dragapults. Anything you want, you can just get with Ultra Ball. We then have 2 copies of Counter Catcher. Obviously, if you go with Badoo first, you're likely to get knocked out. So Counter Catcher is a decent item card to get a free gust on whatever you want, as long as you're behind on prizes, or like in the late game. Say if you have 2 prizes left to take, you can just Counter Catcher up for the final knockout. Next up, we have 2 copies of Nest Ball. Search deck for any basic Pokemon and put it onto your bench. Again, good for, say, the Clefairy, the Serendipity, the Munkidori, the Blobbingus Luna in the late game, another Dreepy. Anything like that, it will usually work for. It's a decent consistency card. I feel like 2 is the perfect amount. You don't need too much more because you're not really attacking with most basics. We then go on to 1 copy of Earthen Vessel. Discard 1 card, search for 2 energy cards. Play 3 different kinds of energy in this deck. So it's nice to have like the ability just to go search for 2 straight away, if for some reason I can't draw into it. We then have 1 copy of Super Rod, which is shuffle up to 3 in any combination of Pokemon basic energy from the discard pile into the deck. Again, for mid to late game, say if you discarded something early game, say if you discarded Dragapult or Fire Energy, and get back in the deck, it's the easy way to do it. And then we could also play 1 copy of Night Stretcher, which is like instant draw back into your hand, so you can get a Dragapult back, Fire, Psychic, anything you want, Pokemon or basic energy wise, back into your hand. We then also play 1 copy of Energy Search. It's like Earthen Vessel, just 1 less energy card, and not having to discard. It's not that bad. So play 1 copy of Dark Energy from Munkidori, so this is what it's usually used for. We then play 1 copy of Switch, just in case I get trapped in the active. I have seen decks running around now that start to like try and trap you in the active or something. Or say if there's like a Mimikyu in the active, I can just switch out of that and just go into something else. My ace spec of the deck is Unfair Stamp, mainly because of it again. Like with Counter Catcher, say if you get knocked out during your opponent's last turn, you don't want to use your support card on an Iono, which again is a spoiler. You can just use Unfair Stamp, put yourself to 5, get your opponent to 2, hopefully take them out of the game for 1 turn so you can catch back up. Now going on to supporters, we play 1 copy of Jacques. That's mainly for all your Dracloaks and Dragapults. It's a decent evolution search. It's probably the best evolution search we have in the game. Obviously it is pretty decent, as I said, for the Dracloaks, the Dragapults that you really need, or anything else like that. So you can just keep the consistency and the momentum going. We then play 1 copy of Brock's Scouting, which is search your deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon or 1 evolution Pokemon, reveal them and put into your hand. So this mainly could be used like sort of a third, like souped up Nest Ball for your Munkidoris, the Hawluchas, or you can get it for the evolutions like Dracloak and Dragapult. I see it more of a better version of Jacques sometimes, but that's each to their own. We then play 2 copies of Professor's Research, discard your hand and draw 7. Obviously probably the most played cards in the game. If you've got a bad hand, you can just discard it all, draw 7 new cards, hope you get a bad hand. We then play 2 copies of Crispin. Search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards of different types, reveal them, put 1 of them into your hand and attach the other to your Pokemon and then shuffle your deck. This is great if you have just no energies on your Dragapult and you just want to swing. Play Crispin, attach your Fire, put a Psychic in your hand, attach the Psychic, you boom, you're hitting for 200 straight away. We then play 2 copies of Boss's Orders. Again, one of the most consistent cards in the game. Switch one in one of your opponent's bench to the active. A very easy way to get KOs on like Squawkabillies, on opposing Clefairies, and anything you've set up for KOs in the meantime. We then play 3 copies of Iono, which again is one of the most played cards in the game. I'm thinking about cutting it down to 2, but I'm not sure what I'll replace it with yet. So shuffle your hand into the bottom of your deck and then draw cards equal to the amount of prize cards you have left. Obviously very good in the early game. You don't want to get hit with it late game because also you get into a lower hand. But you're kind of Iono proof in some ways with the Dracloaks, so it depends. Obviously if you put stuff you want to the bottom of your deck, you are going to have to try and reshuffle your deck somehow. But it's there as an option. We then play 4 copies of Arven. This is good to get your Buddy Poffins, your Nest Balls, your tools, because we do play quite a few tools in the deck, and obviously it's nice to have the access to Buddy Poffin and the Nest Balls when you need them. Speaking of tools, we are onto them, and now we have 1 copy of Experience Share. This is great for attaching it to a bench to cloak. And if your Dragapult gets knocked out, you save one of the energies, you just got to attach one more and you can keep swinging. Honestly, a very underrated card in this deck. I quite like it. It's helped me out in some key situations, so hopefully it'll help me out this weekend. We then have one copy of Rescue Board for, say, the Pheasantipity or Hawlucha or Monkey Dory. It just gives it free retreat because it reduces the retreat cost by 1. And if it has 30 HP or less, it has no retreat cost at all, which very rarely happens, but it's nice to have. You then have one copy of TM Devolution, which works like Evolution, but it devolves your opponent's Pokemon. It's a nice shock when, say, your opponent has a lot of damage counters on the board, and you just devolve everything and knock it all out. It's only happened once to me before, but it is very nice. Obviously, as I mentioned earlier, in testing I have put one copy of TM Evolution in this deck, but it's not currently in like the IRL deck, so we'll just keep it at that. And finally, the energy count. We play 3 copies Fire Energy, 3 copies of Psychic Energy, and 1 copy of Dark Energy. Obviously, Fire and Psychic is mainly for the Dragapults. It can be used for the Clefairy, but it's mainly for the Dragapults. The 1 Dark Energy is obviously for the Monkey Dory, so if either is prized, maybe the Dark Energy is prized, then you kind of want to wait in game, but usually you should have at least 4 or 5 of the energies in your deck, and you play Golden. So yeah, hopefully this works. As of now, this is the deck I plan to use this weekend. There is another deck that I have that I'm working on, but I don't currently have everything for it. I'll put that deck list on the screen now, and I'll put the deck list for the deck here in the description. So if you want to play with it, you can go ahead and have some fun. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new, and let me know what deck you're playing right now if you play the game, or what deck you think will win Worlds this weekend. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you